You got to think about it. Scammers who are really deep into it, they've even taken psychology classes. That's how deep some people are into the scam shit. Now, first things first, let's get into these bank drops. Okay, so back in the day, I'm talking about 2017, 2018, I used to see people posting this all over Instagram. And it would be good kids too that would drop posts like this, talking about tap in if you got BOA, tap in if you got Chase, which can be kind of confusing if you're not tapped into the whole scam wave, the whole scam era. So I'm going to break everything down to a science today for you so you understand everything that's going on. So here's exactly what they do. Here's how they're doing these quote unquote bank scams. The reason why they always say tap in if you got Chase, tap in if you got Bank of America is because what they're going to do is they're going to give you a check, right? And they're going to say, they might say something along the lines of, I got a friend that works at the bank, he electronically puts money on my account every week, and I can have him do the same for you as well. I have him put money on your account too, blah, 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 whatever the script is, right? Something along those lines. And it's essentially phishing. What they're doing is they're essentially phishing for idiots, for anyone to fall for the scam. I send out mass emails to hundreds of people all at once. Just phishing for anyone. There's a whole bunch of different ways, people go about recruiting, which is actually what Bam Man Kevo was doing. He was actually sending out mass emails to people just phishing for anyone to fall for his scam.
Other messages would be recovered showing Kevo, as well as his co-conspirators, all sending out the same recruiting messages, one of which stated, yo, you don't know me, but we can make some cash together. My brother works at Citibank and he puts money on my account, so I can do you a favor and have him put money on your account. If you want to make $1,900, all you have to do is open up a Citibank account and they will give you a temporary card. We will be able to do it the next day from the time you get the card. It's $100 to go open the account, but if you don't have the money, I'll loan it to you. If this is something you want to do, hit me back. I'll give you more details. With all four men sending the same or similar messages, Kevo was printing fraudulent checks to be deposited into the accounts and what was nicknamed making paper.
And you might be wondering, okay, like how in the world is anyone that dumb? How can anyone actually fall for a scam like that? Well, you have to understand that the world is a lot bigger than what you think, than the little bubble you live in, than your neighborhood, and the places you go. The world is a lot bigger than that. So you have a lot of people who are just ignorant of these type of financial crimes. They're not even thinking about that. You have a lot of older people who didn't grow up on the internet. A lot of you younger kids grew up on the internet, so you've seen a lot of things. You've been exposed to a lot of things. They haven't heard these conversations about scams and stuff. If you grew up in a little town somewhere, barely anyone even has cell phone service. You're not even really going to know anything about these financial crimes. Because you don't have technology. Nobody around you is talking about these things, so they don't quite understand these things. They don't really understand how bank scams even work. And that's what a lot of you guys fail to realize, is you still have a lot of people out here on this planet who are just ignorant of these scams that we're going to be discussing here today. When scammers find people like this, I'm talking about the people who still watch cable television and have a home phone. I'm talking about those type of people. They live in a whole nother world. Essentially, they don't know anything about the internet. They don't know anything about technology. They don't know anything about fraud, bank scams, none of that, because they've never been exposed to it. Nobody around them talks about these types of things. So that's what I'm trying to, get you guys to understand, and if one of these people ever find themselves in hard times financially, and they come across one of these scammers, they can very easily be taken advantage of, because what a scammer is going to do is they're going to start telling them exactly what they want to hear. I can make you $1,000 today. I can make you $2,000 today. Or you need $2,000 today. I can make you $2,000 today. Once they start getting in their ear, telling them how much easy money they can make without even breaking a sweat, and someone who's ignorant of these type of scams even to begin with, what do you think they're going to do? They're probably more than likely going to fall victim. They're going to fall for it because they're desperate for money. And scammers know this. Like, think about it. You got to think about it. Scammers who are really deep into it, they've even taken psychology classes. That's how deep some people are into the scam shit. They're trying to understand human nature overall, as a whole, which obviously plays a huge effect in scamming people. Understanding how people will react and how people think and how people feel, and just understanding people in general obviously is going to help you tremendously if you're a scammer. So when a scammer stumbles upon someone like this, and all they got to do is just simply tell them, hey, you can make some money together, just make a mobile deposit in your account. I'll write you this check, deposit it into your account. It's going to take a day or two to clear, but the whole time they're going to try to be getting them to quickly get the victim to go pull the money out of their accounts, because there's only a small window of time before the bank, obviously catches on and notices that it's a fraudulent check. It's a fake check. The check is going to bounce. It's not real. And for the person whose account it is, whoever the account belongs to, they may be penalized in one way or another for, giving the bank a fraudulent check. So you got to think about these things. This is why you got to be financially literate. You got to be up on these scams. Obviously most people aren't going to even fall for some things like this, but you have people out there, especially people who are low IQ individuals, they're prone to falling victim to stuff like this. And if you have history of doing bad business with banks, bounce checks, late payments on credit card bills, late card payments, things of that nature, just doing bad business with the bank overall, they could even, blacklist you, meaning you will never be able to have an account open with them ever again, which is a scary situation to find yourself in, because not only does it affect your relationship with said bank, in particular, but it's also going to affect your relationship with every bank as a whole around the nation. When you get blacklisted from a bank, I'm pretty sure, there's a database. Every bank in America will be able to see that you were blacklisted. If you get blacklisted from, Chase, every other bank is going to see that you are blacklisted from Chase, and that's going to make them not want to do business with you. And when that happens, you're broke, good luck getting anything good in life. Oh, you want to finance a car? Has to get approved. Your car loan has to get approved by a bank. Oh, you want to get a mortgage? You want to buy a house? Your mortgage has to get approved by a bank. You want to own a business? Well, your business needs a bank account. And once they find out that said business they're doing, business with is associated with someone who's blacklisted or even owned by someone who's blacklisted by financial institutions, it's not going to look very good, and they might even drop you as a client. They might even drop your business as a client, because they don't want to be associated with anyone who's blacklisted. That's how it is. It's just not something they're particularly interested in participating in. Millions of other clients that they have to cater to that actually follow the law, so you and your business just isn't too important to them, especially if you are blacklisted. They just treat you like the scum of the earth, the dirt on the ground. They treat you worse than the dirt on the ground. So you never want to get blacklisted from any financial institution. Next up, we got credit card dumps. Now you might be wondering, like, okay, Jack, what is a credit card dump? Well, it's the illegal act of someone copying. If you look at the back of your credit card or debit card, you see that magnetic strip. It's the illegal act of someone copying that information that's contained within that magnetic strip and saving it to a file on the computer, which then can be used, this data can be used to create counterfeit cards. They can literally create a clone of your credit card to be used either for online purchases or in actual brick and mortar stores. Could you imagine that? Someone creating a clone of your credit card and actually going into a store and using it? Now, criminals can obtain the information to create dumps through various means, such as placing skimming devices around ATMs, point-of-sale terminals, even gas pumps. It can also be acquired through data breaches or even malware. And obviously, using or trafficking credit card dumps is a serious offense and can lead to significant losses for individuals or institutions, and obviously legal consequences for the perpetrator. So don't get any ideas, guys. I mean, these are all serious felony charges, and it can lead to jail time.
And so a lot of
Do not pay somebody to build you a Shopify store, because I'm going to do it free with 20 handpicked products by myself and my expert team and professionally written ad copy for all of those products at no charge. And if you don't believe me, I dare you to click on this ad, go to the next page, and see if I ask you for a single penny. And I'm doing this because I am a Shopify partner and an endorsed commerce coach by their platform, and they're actually going to pay me to build your store for you if you like your store and you actually keep it. And if you don't believe me, again, I'm going to share my screen right now, and I'm going to show you how my software will build your store for you at no cost, as long as you take care of setting up your Shopify plan. All right, check this out. This is a quick example of what the store looks like. So you'll be able to have a top banner. You'll be able to have different products that are located on the store that we hand select for you. They're all drop ship products. And we're also going to have professional.
So a lot of ATMs, the card readers are like this, and these magnets actually hold it inside the device.
Investigators here are dissecting the latest skimming devices.
In this particular case, there's a small pinhole on this piece of plastic that would normally sit just like this on the ATM machine and would capture the keypad. A couple months, everything would be quiet, and then the cyber criminals will find a way around it. And then there'll be a new spike until we get it stopped. So it's constantly the cat and mouse game to find ways to prevent it.
Now, last but certainly not least, we have one of my favorite methods of all, which is becoming a vendor on the dark web. Now, of course, you got, a lot of people out there, running their clothing brands, trying to scale that. Other people are out there trying to sell products on eBay or Amazon. Everybody in this day and age is trying to be their own, little entrepreneur. But what you don't hear too often is people talking about being a vendor on the dark web, mainly because these vendors on the dark web are actually committing serious crimes. And if they're ever caught, they can obviously be brought to justice and have to serve jail time, prison time. Of course, in America, you have things like statute of limitations, which is a law that sets the maximum time period within which legal proceedings must be initiated after an event occurs. And after that time period expires, legal claims or charges cannot be brought forward. However, keep in mind that these time periods can be pretty lengthy. Pause. For example, the statute of limitations for mail fraud and wire fraud prosecutions is 5 years. But mail fraud and wire fraud schemes that affect a financial institution can up that statute to 10 years. So say you commit wire fraud today, but then 8-9 years down the road, they catch on to you, and you're out at the park playing basketball with your son, they can still come get you, and you still can be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. So you gotta be careful. You got a lot of simple-minded people out here who believe that if they could just find that one scam, that one play, that everything will be good, everything will work out for them. But here's a little reality check for you. There's not one person on this planet that made it to a multimillionaire level, even a millionaire level, just by scamming and taking advantage of people who ultimately didn't have to pay the price in the end. That's just how life is. You can't scam and scheme your way there. I mean, you can, but ultimately you're more than likely going to be caught. Even some of the smartest bankers who ran hedge funds, etc., and stole billions of dollars in the process. Even they, eventually had to pay the price, for the crimes. In one way, shape, form, or another. Not necessarily saying that everyone gets caught by, authorities and has to serve prison time, but some people, deal with their crime. Some people are brought to justice in other ways, whether that's through street justice, whether they're killed, whether something happens to their family, etc. A whole bunch of crazy things happen, to these people that commit these financial crimes, because you have to understand that you're playing with people's money. Whenever you commit these crimes, you're taking money away from somebody. You're literally taking their money. So, and not everyone takes kindly to that. Some people will, they might want to do something to you. They might even want to do something to your family. If there's anybody around you that you care about, you got to think about them, before you even get yourself involved in anything of that nature. I don't think most people even want to go down that route. I think most people just want to, live a relatively, normal life, work a 9 to 5, go to work, come home, feed the dog, fuck your wife, go to sleep. Some people want to have kids, whatever the case, but for the most part, most people just want to have a normal life. Most people don't want to have to worry about, this and that, and, having to watch over their back because they scammed people. It comes with being a scammer comes with its own set of problems, obviously. So, that's just what you got to think about before you do anything stupid.
You know what nobody talks about when it comes to building a content creator business? That if you're not using a tool like HoneyBook to stay organized and professional in your communication, you're
as far as I can tell, just coming in off the street. And what are they? They're checking the VIN, I guess, there, right?
Yeah, they just had a look at the VIN with their cell phone. They took a look at that.
And that's the number that we all have on our dashboard. And why does that matter?
Yeah, vehicle identification number. They're just either looking to see if it's the same one that they saw earlier or the one that they're after. And now you can see that they're punching the lock on that door to open it.
And see, right now, what they're doing, they just saw a car go by. And so it's kind of like this funny combination of high tech and no tech, right? Like the no tech part is they're just hiding, crouching behind the car to try to, not get caught. But the high tech part is they're going to figure out how to defeat the anti-theft system here.
And now they've gained that entry into the vehicle. And this has all the characteristics of a reprogramming theft, which means they plugged their device into the onboard diagnostic ports, the OBD port, and they're able to reprogram a key fob and start the vehicle and drive it away.
Now, let's be clear here. I'm not encouraging you to go out and purchase these tools so you can steal your neighbor's car. But what I am going to do is I'm going to show you how people are stealing vehicles without even needing a key. So what you've just seen is a group of teenagers stealing a car in the middle of the night. And even in today's day and age, unfortunately, it's still very easy to steal even modern vehicles, right? And a lot of people are under the impression that when they buy a new vehicle, they're paying for the latest safety features and things of that nature. And they think nobody can steal their car unless they have a key. But today I'm going to show you why that is wrong. Now, I do want to reiterate, this is not an endorsement of stealing cars. These are tools generally used by locksmiths. However, based on my experience, there's not really too many checks and balances when purchasing these tools, meaning really anybody can just get their hands on them. But let's get into this, and we'll start with some basics. You'll either want a proximity sensing key, such as this one here, or a traditional key that plugs directly into the ignition to start the car. And as we all know, new vehicles come with key fobs, and inside of every key fob is a physical key. That way, you can still access the inside the car just in case the battery ever dies or whatever the case. Now, this profile here, and this is something most people are unaware of, these are actually common to a number of vehicles, meaning the same exact key profile was also used on a number of other vehicles around the world. They are generally limited to region, so you won't typically have two BMWs, in Switzerland with the same exact key profile, but there may be other BMWs around the world with that same exact key profile. And that key profile is associated with a code, which allows a locksmith, for example, to, type it into their little key cutting machine and make different cuts of keys. And those machines can make exact replicas of keys without even needing the original key. But how does all of this relate to someone stealing a car? Well, by having a key like this, it allows you to get access into the car without breaking a window. And there's a number of ways someone can actually get the key code to your car, which will allow them to cut a key. The first method is by using a turbo decoder, which goes directly inside of the keyhole. You spin it around a bit, and this will allow you to grab the reach profile that a locksmith will then be able to cut a new key for. Now, in Hyundai's case, on the other hand, and this is what genuinely blew me away when I initially learned this, someone I know actually learned a method which allows you to generate a key code from a website using the VIN of a vehicle. And obviously, I can't show you the website here on YouTube, so everything will be blurred out. But as we can see here,
they have a device that they could plug into your car. They don't even need a key. Some cars need a key too, but with the device, but they can just plug it right into your car and start your car up. Plug it right into your car, right into the dashboard, and start it right up. My next video, I'm gonna show y'all.
all we have to do is enter in the VIN, and then it gives us the key code, and it will also spit out a PIN code, which allows us to access the vehicle's OBD port, which is where we can communicate with the vehicle to change settings. Now, getting the VIN of a vehicle is pretty straightforward. In Queensland, for example, all we have to do is enter in the registration number into this website, which will then give us the VIN. And once we have our key code, we're able to type it into this locksmith machine, and then we're actually able to make a key for the car. Now, once inside the vehicle, the alarm sounded, but in the matter of seconds, you're able to plug in the device and type in the PIN code we got from the website. Now, these devices can be purchased by anyone, which allows them to add and remove keys, and they can also program a multitude of different car manufacturers, not just Hyundais. Now, logically speaking, when someone hears a car alarm go off in their neighborhood, unless it's close enough to where they think it might be their own vehicle, or it's been going off for an extended period of time, probably not going to be really too concerned, right? If you hear a car alarm go off for 10 seconds and then it goes off, you're probably not really going to think too much. You're just going to go about your day. Well, in less than 10 seconds, we've already programmed a new proximity sensing key to the vehicle, which is effectively able to start the car and drive off with it without any problems. Now, this is a key that we cut ourselves and a new proximity sensing key fob that we programmed to the car ourselves via the OBD ports and a website that gave us the corresponding PIN code for the diagnostic tablet to access the OBD port, which just goes to show you how easy it could.
And you can start any car, like almost any car, with this.
Be for someone to steal your car with certain tools that can be bought over the internet by anyone.
Yeah,
and a little bit of knowledge on how to use them properly.
You can buy these tools on Amazon. On my next video, I'm gonna show y'all. You can buy these tools on Amazon easily.
Properly. They say common sense isn't so common anymore. I'm not sure if it ever was.
The number one skill to become wealthy and become a millionaire. What is required? Common sense.
So with that being said, if you were fortunate enough to be born with common sense, you should already be building up your portfolio by now. I look on YouTube and I see a lot of people complaining about their financial situation. The sad reality is,
if you die today, your mother, me, and maybe another 50, 75 people show up. By 2 p.m., half of us are hungry. We're booking restaurants. By 5 p.m., your mom can't shed any more tears. She goes home, she goes to bed, and in the morning, she figures out, how do I pay the bill? And everybody's back to work. Long gone dream, baby.
A lot of people miss out on the NFT.
Do you like having a P.O. box but are tired of wasting time and money driving to the post office?
T-Wave, I made thousands of dollars. Too many of you never believed in Bitcoin. I made tens of thousands of dollars, mainly because if you were a vendor on the dark web back in the day, we only really used Bitcoin back then. So through being a vendor and selling products, I was able to stack up a bunch of Bitcoin, and I sold during a bull run back when Bitcoin initially reached around 60,000 per coin. And as far as the stock market, the majority of people just don't have the attention span to actually sit down and learn about business, intrinsic value, and price to earnings ratio. So if you're not going to take the time to learn those three fundamentals, don't even waste your time. There's already people who have done decades of research with pump it up schemes, insider trading issues, and there's just people who are waiting to take your money. Just waiting. So don't get into the stock market. Instead, I would say, learn how to build and leverage your credit. A lot of you might watch these other YouTubers, especially lifestyle vloggers, and you might hear them speak on leveraging their credit to advance their lifestyle, especially when it comes to these Dodge Chargers, Challengers, BMWs. Every young person wants one of these vehicles, or a Jeep Trackhawk, and these are very expensive vehicles. I don't care what anyone says. Most people cannot afford any of these cars, and if they already have them, they're probably struggling to keep up with the car note and maintenance. A 21-year-old driving around in a Challenger or a Trackhawk is insane, but you got young guys doing it out here, and it's all being accomplished through leveraging their credits and their creativity. Because me personally, I wouldn't even recommend spending your money on any of these high-end vehicles. It's just a depreciating asset. And there's also a lot of variables. If you don't already have a following on social media, and you're not planning on making car content with a vehicle, I wouldn't even advise it. I wouldn't even advise going down that route. Just wait, keep building up your credit, keep stacking up money, and just be patient. So later on, you can actually comfortably afford any car you want. A lot of people mess themselves up at a young age, and it's hard to recover from that. So this is what I would recommend doing. Go and get a job at 16. Once you're 16, go and get your worker's permit. Go get a job at, a local grocery store, at a car dealership. That's where I started out, the dealership. Built my money up over the course of a couple months, and then I went and got a secure card. Okay, you put down the deposit, and that's your credit limit on the card. Use the card for daily purchases and pay it off at the end of every month. Pay off the full balance at the end of every month. Don't just make minimum payments. Pay off the entire balance every month. Only spend what you can afford on the card, because whatever you spend on the card, you have to pay off. Then after a few months of good payment history, the banks will allow you to graduate onto an unsecured card, increase your credit limit, and keep building out your credit profile. Always make sure you're keeping up with your credit history. If you bank with Chase or maybe Federal, etc., you can use the mobile banking app, to keep up with your credit history without it affecting anything. A lot of people overcomplicate their life, and especially their finances. Keep it simple. Keep it simple. Keep your bills low. Keep your income high. Don't fall for none of the investing nonsense. Just keep on stacking your money up. Keep learning how to further your career. Drive a beater until you can actually comfortably afford the vehicle you want. Stop trying to impress people. Stop trying to look wealthy, and let's actually build some real money. Another important aspect is to not waste time on things you can't change. A lot of people feel like if their job isn't glamorous enough or something exciting to talk about with people, they feel like they're not doing enough in life. Don't fall for that. I've seen it put a lot of guys in a dark place. Bitching and complaining is never going to fix anything. You have to understand that as a man, the only thing you can really do is just work yourself out of any situation, any hard circumstances you come under. Find something you love, something that you can actually make a profitable career out of, and focus. Put all your focus into that one thing, into that one project, and don't let anything distract you, man. You know, you have a whole bunch of distractions out here, especially during the beginning stages. You're gonna have a lot of people trying to throw you off. Don't let anything throw you off. You have to have tunnel vision. You have to stay focused on the goal at hand, the mission at hand. And you know, once you get that momentum going up, it can be off to the races, you know, and that acceleration can blast you off. But, you know, keeping your go-kart on the track and keeping it going can be a whole other thing. That's one thing about making money. It can be easy to get going, you know, but keeping on track can be a whole nother topic.
Shopify has impacted our business heavily. It gives us a platform. It's not only affordable, but